Hello, everyone. I'm Fred Oakman here with Mr. Jake Peters, and you're listening to P.S. This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 380, where we dive into our thoughts on all things PlayStation. Before we jump in, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome, where you can also watch the video version of the podcast. You can check out our trophy list on the PlayStation Network. I'm Anchorless_81, and Jake is JakeSaw01. Send your thoughts to psthisisawesome@gmail.com. Share the show with your friends. Don't forget to rate us. This podcast airs for free every Wednesday on your preferred streaming platform. But for those who sign up to our Patreon for just $1 a month, you can join the one and only $1 club and receive a die-cut vinyl sticker and a shout-out on the show. Most times, you also get the show a day or two early. So visit patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome to support us. Remember, if you like our podcast, it does us a lot of good if you can like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. And I will apologize for episode 379. The audio was bad. So if you're new to the show, that's on us. That's on me. Jake had nothing to do with it. It was my error. And I hope that this episode is better. I checked things and it looks like things are better and correct, but they may not be. And by the time we finish, it'll be too late otherwise. So Jake, with that out of the way, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Not the best 24 hours for reasons I won't get into here, but generally speaking, I'm in decent health. I had I don't know if I had got into a fight in the middle of the night or if it's because I worked out this morning, but my neck is fucking killing me today. Like right at the base of my skull. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just, I don't think it's tension. It feels like almost like my neck needs to pop or something. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But we got to see my sister-in-law, Sarah's sister, over the weekend, and her boyfriend. They live in California. They live in LA. So we don't get to see them hardly ever. And so that was kind of cool. We spent time with them yesterday and some of Sarah's family, and her boyfriend was telling me, so they went to this past winter, they went to Australia and as like a vacation. And after a week, Carolyn, Sarah's sister, came home and her boyfriend he flew from Australia over to the South Island of New Zealand, specifically into that big city there, Christchurch, and him and his buddies rented motorcycles and spent 10 days literally just motorcycling around the whole way around the South Island of New Zealand, which to me is like, dude, I'm like listening to him telling I'm like green with envy, like listening to him tell me this story. And it's like, you ever have, if I look at my life objectively, I've got it pretty good. We're relatively lucky. We both have good jobs. We're not broke or anything. We can afford to do generally what we want to do. But I was telling Sarah last night, I was like, talking to Sarah's sister's boyfriend, he's super chill, super down to earth, like really quiet. Like generally like a very kind of like super nice guy, not like boastful or anything. But he's like one of those guys that like when you listen to them talk about the things that they're doing, it just makes you feel like such a fucking loser. You know what I'm talking about? Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because you're like, man, if I had just done this differently or this differently or this differently, or I did this instead of that or whatever, it's like I could be doing this crazy shit. And I think it specifically hits home just because like what he's talking about, that motorcycle trip he's talking about is like, would be like an absolute dream vacation for me. Because, forever, Sarah and I have always talked about how cool it would be to go to New Zealand, but at the same time, being able to like tour the place on a fucking motorcycle would be so rad.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But yeah, I mean, So that was kind of, but it was cool, like being able to talk to him, because him and I have a lot of really similar interests. Like he's really into motorsport. He's really into like, he's into video games and stuff. Although we didn't really talk about video games. We talked mostly about like motorcycling and New Zealand and Formula One and like a lot of other stuff and books and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really cool. And I think that they're potentially going to move to Australia for a year.
Jeez, my brother did that once.
Right. So, like on like a work visa or whatever. So, I'm considering, it might be kind of a neat sort of opportunity for us to take a trip over there, just as like something to do, to like just go see them, because we have like a place to go. It wouldn't be just like kind of wandering into a random country and having to figure it out on your own. So, and he's really into like surfing and stuff too. That's part of why he wants to go to Australia. Because the surf scene there is huge. But yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, that was just kind of my day yesterday. It was pretty cool. Saturday was cold. I didn't really get to do much of anything on Saturday. I did a little bit of chores and stuff, but nothing really to write home about. So other than that, Stanley Cup final starts on Wednesday, so I'm excited about that. And not a whole lot else. We're playing a show, dude. We're playing that show on Friday, and isn't it like at 10 o'clock at night?
Yeah, we play 10 to 10:30,
and it's like granted, obviously playing rock and roll shows and punk shows and hardcore shows and shit, half an hour set is like relatively standard, but we're used to playing 3-hour sets, occasionally 2-hour sets. So driving, packing all our shit out, driving all the way out there to play like a half an hour gig almost is just kind of like, don't get me wrong, I'm totally stoked to play a short set because it means we can just kind of pick a handful of burners and just fucking bang it out.
Yeah.
You're less worried about like, am I gonna forget these songs, because you don't have to worry about remembering 40 of them. But
it's literally like 6 songs.
But I'm excited. Is it outside, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's camping all weekend for anyone who wants to. It's free admission. There's 30 bands. It's called the Hills and Hollers Festival. There's sponsorship, so there's gonna be other things there, I think. So, seems dope.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's maybe a chance of storms on Friday, so I don't know how that's gonna work out for us, but hopefully the weather holds off and it's just kind of a good time, because I think it should be relatively temperate.
Yeah,
and,
the thing that's interesting about it is we were asked to play, and the title of the expo or the music fest is called the Hills and Hollers Expo. So in my mind, they're backlining all kinds of like drums and all this kind of stuff. So I got to touch base with the guy putting it on about what exactly they're going to have, and what, if Nate's just bringing breakables or like a snare and maybe some cymbals. I don't know, but it's
they're going to have a backline.
What's that?
So they're going to have a backline.
Yeah.
So I just need to bring my bass.
I think maybe, and we're just going to DI into their system.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do anyways with my acoustic, and I think Troy wants to bring his head rush or whatever. But what's interesting is it's called the Hills and Hollers Fest, and I was like, well, who do you want to book? Me solo, me with the Flood, or do you want to book One Off by Land? And the guy goes, yo, dude, just whatever group you want to bring. And I knew we didn't have like a lot of shows booked at the time, and Hills and Hollers sounds like Americana folk stuff. So I was like, I'll just bring the Flood. It'll be perfect. And turns out we're the anomaly. We're the group that's not going to sound like the other groups. It's a lot of rock bands. So
we've got a lot of like rock adjacent songs that we could play.
Yeah,
like upbeat stuff, some covers and shit that we can play.
I don't think they want covers. I think it's all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
But so I guess the thing is like, do we lean into our weirdness and do a slow one? Or do we just do the burners? I mean, 10 o'clock at night, people are going to be a little cooked at that point, I'd imagine. They might be into...
Depends how much drinking's going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean...
It's all ages, so it's going to be a free-for-all, I think.
I mean, I probably wouldn't play, like...
It haunts you.
It haunts you.
Yeah, right.
But like, we could play, something
maybe,
that's a little bit... Yeah, something like that, which is just, it's got... Everybody's involved, and it's just not high speed.
Yeah, we just got to come up with the set list so we all feel good about it. But anyways... Yeah, that is happening this Friday, and the fest is happening all the way through Sunday. So that'll be interesting for the group. I'm trying to think what else. I played yesterday. I played on Sunday at this place called 6 Mile Cellars. And it was interesting, man. It went over well, you know. Had a dude come out and know some songs, and he bought a T-shirt, and he said the last version of My Gasoline Heart that he had remember those old CD players in the vehicles where you pop the face off the CD player so no one could steal it? It was like a crime prevention thing.
Yeah. You could take the face off the deck.
Yeah, so he said it ate My Gasoline Heart, and then he ended up selling it, but then no one can get the CD out, but it still plays. So he's like, it's playing probably for somebody else right now. He goes, I listened to that record nonstop for like a year because it's all I could listen to in my truck. And I said, that's awesome. I said, I'm sorry, but that's awesome. So that was cool. So he came out. That was a cool little place to play. It was in Erie. A lot of vineyards out that way. But
did he buy another one?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He wasn't sick of it. So he did. And, everything's cool. Everything's working out. We didn't do Hero Quest because the Sunday's usually our day, and that was a 4 to 6 gig I played. So trying to think what else I got into. I don't think I really got into anything. Friday. I don't even remember Friday, if I'm being completely honest. I don't remember Friday at all. That's all right. But anyways, let's quit talking about ourselves. Oh, no, I do have a story, and I got an image ready. Friday this happened. This actually did happen. So I'm driving to work, and I'm looking in the rear view, and Jake, you saw the picture. I saw a guy that looks just like Gandalf the Grey from Lord of the Rings, and I'm going to share.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to share the picture on the podcast, so you guys will be able to see this if you're on YouTube. And I'm going to post it real quick. I don't know this guy. I don't have his permission to post it, but it was a public posting. Oh, I got to rotate it. Hold on. How do I rotate this? Oh, no. I don't think I can rotate my image. Let me see if I can transform. Yes, I can. 90 degrees clockwise. Here we go. Jake, you can't see it, but so if the viewers of this will look at this, this dude was in the passenger seat behind me. And I was like, that's fucking Gandalf right there tailing me. And it's the funniest thing that's ever happened. And I work in a semi-professional environment. So, I didn't want to burst into work showing everybody this crazy picture, but I was on cloud 9 about how much this guy looked like Gandalf the Grey. So anyways, that was, I love seeing doppelgangers, but this guy looks like he has the wizard hat and the cloak. And as far as I know, they don't have any medieval fest going on right now that he could have been en route to. So I think that's his normal attire, and it made me so happy. He was riding shoddy in like a Nissan, and that's so cool. Yeah, if only I could have borrowed him to cast a spell or two to get me out of work early that day, that would have been awesome. But that out of the way, games we're playing. Every episode we talk about different games that we're playing on the internet. Or on the PlayStation, and you're listening to us via the internet. But guys, I'm so happy to report that you guys have been on this pilgrimage with me to beat Octopath Traveler 2. And jeepers, I did it at about 76 hours in the game. I beat the game, and then I beat the final boss. So I've now immediately deleted the game from my PlayStation because that's how it works. I can't stand to look at it. I got the trophy for getting the true ending. I did not platinum it, but I'm okay with that. But a little quick story. I did the whole thing where I'll give a little inside baseball to the listeners. If you're curious, if you ever get to this part of the game, if you have the merchant, and it's also a job class you can assign to like your warrior or whomever. It's like a subclass. Merchant is a main class that you're going to have, and then you can assign that subclass to one other person. They have a special move called hired help. And if you have enough money, you can use hired help, max it out, and just send assassins at the last guy. It takes $500,000 is the point that I needed to have $500,000 racked up. But what I did was, after I got pissed off as I couldn't beat him, I went back to town and I sold literally every healing potion, every shield, sword, everything. Like leaves that I didn't need for apothecary uses. I sold everything and got my bank way up. And then I went and fought the guy, and then I just pretty much bought his defeat with the one character. It still wasn't easy, but I had that intuition the morning after. So it must have been Saturday morning I did that. He defeated me again Friday, and it pissed me off. And I woke up Saturday with a new vision of how to do it, and it worked. So I did. You could say I cheesed it, but I didn't, because it is a game mechanic. That is the skill of the merchant, is that if you have money, he can do cool shit. So I just had a lot of fucking money because I played the game right. So anyways, I don't know what I'm on to next. I have analysis paralysis right now. I'm having trouble figuring out what my palate cleanser is going to be. 76 hours in any game world is enough to almost deter me from playing any more video games for the next month, but I feel like I need to jump right back in. I considered RoboCop. I considered Balatro, but I heard people, or Balatro, I heard people like get really sucked into Balatro, and I know Inscription did that to me, although I loved the experience. I don't want a game that I'm going to feel entirely engulfed by. So I went back to my Last of Us Part 2 PS5, the remaster or whatever, and I just played through a couple little parts of that just to kind of clean my brain, but I don't know what to jump into now. So I'll leave that there, and I don't know. If you have any comment on that, Jake, any suggestions, and listeners have any suggestions, I'd be happy to hear it. But what about you, Jake? What are you playing?
Nothing new. I'm just playing whatever the fuck I'm playing.
Clair.
What am I playing? Clair Obscur. And I am 31 hours in, so I think I'm getting pretty close to the end. I am at the, what do they call it in the game? The monolith. I don't know really how much farther I have to go, but based on what people are saying about how long the game is, I have to imagine I'm pretty close to the end at this point. So hopefully by the next episode, I will have beaten it and I can move on to something else, because I am anxious to both get back to Elder Scrolls for Oblivion Remastered. I am anxious to get back to that and to play Doom the Dark Ages. So I really do want to check that out, and this game's kind of in the way of that. And then obviously, you know, I'm still playing a little bit of Richard here and there on the side on my Steam Deck. And I'm trying to think if there's, like, obvious Death Stranding 2 is coming out, but I don't think I'm going to play it right away, if I'm being honest with you. It comes out in a few weeks. One, because it comes out literally while Sarah and I are on vacation, so I won't be able to play it right away anyway. But two, it's just like, I don't know that I'm ready. Like that game, like the first game, I ended up really liking it, but it's like a thing, if that makes any sense. Like, you have to be in the zone to be interested in like playing something that's really like dreary and dark, and it's got this wacky story, and you're just kind of slogging through the whole thing. I mean, that's all part of the experience, and it's what makes it great. But after playing a super depressing game like Clair Obscur, I don't know if I want to jump just head first into Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I am excited to try out Dune: The Dark Ages, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see.
Cool.
How that goes.
Yeah, very good. Very good. I like that you're still crunching on Clair. I talked to my brother, and I had to brag about beating Octopath Traveler 2. And I was like, dude, it took me like 76 hours. And he goes, yeah, that's kind of expected, and it's a long game. And I'm like, well, how long did it take you to beat Clair Obscur? Because I want to play it. And he goes, probably about the same amount of time. He goes, I did everything. And I'm like, I don't know that it took you 70-some hours.
No, I think if you look up like on how long to beat, it's like main story only is like 25 hours. And then like main plus extras is like 35 to 40. And then if you do everything, it's like 70 to 80.
Well, maybe he did then. He said he did everything.
Yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of like shit you can do that I'm not gonna do. I'm mostly just interested in getting through the story and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of interest in doing like this like crazy side content. So,
right.
Like there's an island you can go to where it's like a platforming race, and like I'm not, I don't feel like fucking around with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's cool that it's in there, but it's just not something I'm interested with this game. So
Yeah.
I think you're probably, if you play anything like me, you're probably between the 30 and 40 hour mark on the game. I'm guessing. I haven't beat it yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. Well, let's get into some listener feedback real quick. Every episode we go over some feedback. Big Box writes in. He says, hey, your thumbnail game is through the roof. Big Box, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for that. We needed that shot in the arm after getting absolutely decimated by some random person online ripping on our AI thumbnails. Appreciate it, Big Box. And then regarding episode 378, One Black Talon wrote in last week, and I forgot to bring this up. Jake, you did something really funny. So at 42:34, you say the word amen. Like you said some long thing, and then you just said forever and ever and ever, amen. And it was the amen was hilarious. And I'm glad that Black Talon pointed this out. He also states that he agrees with you on the Jade Raymond thing. But I've never heard you do that. Like what?
So what I said was, I think it was something along the lines of like after, because it was about how Jade Raymond left Haven or whatever, and I was like, I don't want to hear anything about Jade Raymond forever and ever, amen, or it was something like that. And so I appreciate that you guys liked that. I have to admit that I have heard other people say that before, so it's not like I just came up with that on the fly. I'm not like some sort of comedic genius or anything like that. But specifically, there's this hockey podcast where I've heard this guy say it before, and it was just something that just kind of came out of me, probably because of it just kind of happened. You know how you kind of sort of
you start talking like the people.
When you're talking, sometimes you like start regurgitating things that you've heard and stuff. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, One Black Talon. I would love to take credit for it, but it is, feel free to use it because I think it's a hilarious statement. Like whenever
it's got to be delivered dryly, like how you did it, though. You can't lean into it. You just said it like it was the most normal thing to fucking say in the world.
Yeah.
You didn't even smile or laugh or anything. Like, just
it's
so cold.
It is definitely a fun thing, especially if you're like one of these people that, you know, either go to church or maybe you grew up going to church or something like that, and you're used to like the Catholics being like, you know, talking like that, and then it's like, it's just such a juxtaposition about talking about fucking Jade Raymond in video games to like saying I don't know, it's cool, but yeah, I appreciate the sentiment, One Black Talon.
Yeah, I do as well.
Good to hear from you.
Thanks for writing in. Sorry I missed that last week. Let's get into some news. We're going to go over a couple news points and then wrap things up. We don't have a long podcast, although there are some notable news points here to bring up. I don't know if I caught everything. I caught a lot of stuff doing those notes today. So first point of discussion, Summer Game Fest 2025 is set to take place on June 6th, with Geoff Keighley hosting the event as the new go-to replacement for E3. The showcase kicks off at 2 p.m. Pacific, whatever time. I don't know what the D stands for in that.
Daylight.
Yeah, I wrote this, but I don't remember. I don't know what that means. Pacific Daylight Time. Streaming live on platforms like YouTube and Twitch. Expect exciting announcements and reveals with a focus on big gaming titles. Right after the main event, Day of the Devs will highlight the indie games. And for anyone who can't watch live, a full roundup of all PS5, PS4 related news from Summer Games Fest will be available afterward on Push Square. We do go to Push Square a lot for our news site, so I thought it was only fair to put that in there. And while no major leaks have yet emerged, there is speculation building around potential surprise reveals, making this year's event one to watch. And I will also note that PlayStation will be an official partner of Summer Games Fest this year. So, Jake, you got anything on this?
I mean, I'm excited. I'm always excited to see. I think last year, if I remember correctly, it was, I mean, maybe I'm thinking of the Game Awards, but I feel like there was some bangers at Summer Games Fest last year. So I would love to see more. I mean, even if it's like what if they come out and it's like a gameplay trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6?
There's no way.
That would be fucking sick.
Yeah, they already pushed it out. There's no way.
Yeah, that might be more of like a Game Awards thing, because that's coming out. It's not coming out till next year. But you could see like maybe this is maybe there's a reemergence of Wolverine. Yeah. Maybe we get some shit on Soros.
Ghost of Yote.
Maybe Ghost of Yote is a thing that we're gonna have to see at some point before it launches later this year.
I like every time I bring up Ghost of Yote, you just say, well, obviously Ghost of Yote is going to... But we haven't seen much else.
I forget about it every fucking time. Well, I mean, it's like, well, what...
Yeah, because we haven't heard shit about it, right? There hasn't been anything about it lately.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'd be interested to see some new stuff. But I don't know. I mean... My brain's all scrambled today, so I can't really think about like all the games that have been announced.
Yeah.
But I can imagine there being a scenario where they announce some new games that we would be really excited about. Maybe like a VR title or two.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't, hold your breath on that.
Could happen.
But it would be really cool to see. I don't know, what's oh gosh, my brain is broken. Wasn't there? I don't know. If I think about it, I'll come back to it. But I would love to see some more like smaller titles, like a B. I hate to say B tier, but even like something like a Shovel Knight kind of game, or a
well, we know they're working on a new Space Marines game. Maybe we'll see a little teaser for that. I mean, they're quick. They turn those games around fast.
I hope not. It's so soon, but maybe. I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because Keighley and Kojima are boys, that you would see some Death Stranding shit there. Maybe we'll see more about that OD game that Kojima's working on for Microsoft.
Yeah.
That might be kind of cool. Maybe we'll see some more intergalactic shit, although that game is every bit of next year, so I don't know why they would talk about it right now. I don't know. There's other shit coming out this fall. I really think that, like, I hope we see new stuff, but I have to imagine that there's going to be just basically a bunch of stuff that's coming out this year and early next year that they're going to kind of go over.
Yeah, right. All right, well, very good. Who knows what we're going to see? Next news point, IO Interactive is officially...
Hell Is Us. That Hell Is Us game has been making the preview rounds.
Right, yeah.
So it's possible that maybe... Or Borderlands 4, I know we've seen some about that. Metal Gear Solid 3 is coming out this year. So there's definitely stuff. That Lost Soul Aside game, I'm just kind of looking at a list now. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Little Nightmares 3,
you did.
Gaiden 4. Yeah. Where winds meet. I don't even remember what that is.
Where wieners meet.
Yeah, where wieners meet. Forever Skies. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, IO Interactive has officially announced that 007 First Light, their upcoming James Bond game, will be revealed during the inaugural IO Interactive showcased on June 6th. This will coincide with Summer Game Fest, and the presentation will cover the highly anticipated Bond title along with updates on Hitman and Mind's Eye, which IO Interactive is publishing. While it won't be part of the Summer Game Fest showcase itself, fans can catch the 007 reveal 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I think that's what it stands for. 007 First Light is expected to offer an original take on Bond's story, likely exploring his origins with taglines, "Earn the Number." Fans of Hitman will be especially excited as the developer's expertise in immersive story-driven gameplay pairs perfectly with the iconic Spy franchise. I don't know how I feel about a new Bond game. Surely it'll get a lot of... I mean, anything. Have we had a Bond game since GoldenEye? I don't know.
We've had a lot, but I don't know. To me, the weird point about this news point is like, why the fuck is IO Interactive doing their own showcase? What do they have, like 3 games in development?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I'm probably being a little bit harsh, and that might be a little bit silly, but
You are, but that's okay.
it's like, just release a new video on YouTube or something. I don't like. Does it need to be an event or a stream or something? I don't really know. But I am interested to see what this 007 game is. I mean, I think if they wanted this thing to be awesome, if they really wanted to capture sort of like a zeitgeist, if they could somehow capture the essence of GoldenEye and put it in this game, I think people might really dig it, rather than doing like a, because IO is famous for Hitman. They do the third person kind of assassin stuff. Like, I don't know that I necessarily want to have another like third person fucking James Bond game. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that there's a lot of them, just like basically a reskin of Hitman, but you're James Bond. I think what I would prefer would be like, what if we did like a first person game where you're James Bond?
That'd be kind of cool.
And it's like, but it's sneaky, almost like it's stealthy, almost like the Wolfenstein games from Machine Games, where you do a lot of stealth in those, and it's got the iconic music. That would be pretty cool, although they want to do an original take, so obviously they're not going to be stealing from the iconic backdrops and music and stuff from GoldenEye, but I don't know. I am definitely curious about this. I'm curious about Mind's Eye. I think it looks very interesting as well, and I didn't realize it was coming out so quickly. So I might have to, depending on how this thing shows and how it reviews, that might end up on my radar as well. But I'm interested in what they have to say. Not necessarily convinced that it's going to be anything mind-blowing, though.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see. Hopefully they reinvent the wheel in a way that just tickles all our fancy. Next news point. CD Projekt Red will reveal tech behind The Witcher 4 at the State of Unreal event on June 3rd, which is what? Is that? No. Today's what? The 2nd? That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Showcasing features powered by Unreal Engine 5. While no gameplay will be shown, the tech demo may offer a glimpse of the game's visual potential. The event streams live at 6:30 on YouTube and Twitch. Fans are excited to see how areas like Skellige will look in the new engine. They're getting further and further along with this game, that's for sure. Well, we already got a cinematic trailer, which was dope. And I think that they haven't announced... I don't think they announced a release window yet for The Witcher 4, but holy shit, am I all in. I don't even care.
I'm not going to lie. It wouldn't surprise me if this is like a launch window game for the next console.
Yeah.
Like, I I don't know. I mean, they take so long to do their games, and they are always fucking disgusting at launch. So hopefully they don't have that problem with this because they're using Unreal. But famously, at this point in time, Unreal 5 has a lot of performance issues, especially on console. So it could very well carry over. Hopefully all that'll be patched out by the time The Witcher 4 releases. But I don't know anymore that I care about stuff like this. I mean, I'll probably watch it just to kind of see what's up. But gone are the days of like when I was in college and they released the showcase of Unreal Engine 3 and how they were going to use it with Oblivion and all this stuff, and how you could actually see like 3D textures on bricks and like all this shit. And I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Like, shit just looks so real already. Like, everything already looks so good. It's like, yeah, it's probably going to look pretty fucking rad. But at some point, you know, everything's just kind of like, you get kind of numb to things looking awesome.
Yeah.
That's why stuff like Persona or Clair Obscur stand out, because the art style is so crazy.
It's very
and it's
stylized.
so interesting and unique, and it's stylish, and it's not just like you know, normal looking person looks fucking flawless, because that is something we see a lot now. So I'm curious. Not that The Witcher or Cyberpunk, not that they don't have their own style, they do. But I'm mostly curious as to how CD Projekt is going to use this engine, since it seems like part of the reason that their games are notoriously problematic at launch is because they use their own proprietary Red engine. And now that they're shifting over to Unreal Engine 5, hopefully that means that they're going to have a much easier time developing these games. And who knows, maybe it'll even come out sooner than we expect.
Yeah.
But I would anticipate this game is every bit of 2027.
Yeah, I would say even maybe 2028. So I agree, but it is exciting to think about. So let's move it on a little bit more. Tango Gameworks. This is, of course, the developer behind Hi-Fi Rush and The Evil Within. They have now officially reopened. They were rescued by Krafton, Krafton. The Tokyo-based studio has launched a new logo and a website, signaling their return to business as it begins recruiting for an unannounced action game. The studio, now embracing a hybrid work model, is focusing on creating games with a handmade feel. While specific details about the new project remain under wraps, Tango Gameworks is hiring across multiple departments for early development stages. Cool. That's good.
You know what's funny is when you brought the news point up earlier about Summer Games Fest, I was gonna say like, oh man, it'd be fucking rad if they announced like a Hi-Fi Rush 2.
Yeah. And
then I was like, oh wait, Microsoft shut that studio down.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I didn't see this news point about Tango reopening under Krafton. I knew Krafton bought them, but I didn't know that they like officially reopened and are starting to make a new game. Mm-hmm. So not that Tango owns Hi-Fi Rush. I'm pretty sure Microsoft maybe still owns that, but they're more than capable of making these awesome, stylish, like fun action games that are more than just these horror-based titles. Now, don't get me wrong. Loved The Evil Within 1 and 2. Loved Tokyo Ghostwire Tokyo. Loved all three of the games they did. Even but I loved Hi-Fi Rush as like a departure from that formula. Really unique take on like a rhythm game. And so I would I'm really anxious to see sort of what their next kind of idea is.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Krafton is they're a publisher, game publisher that is they have a subsidiary that is the PUBG people. So Krafton's kind of big. They've got money. So curious to see where this goes. I don't know if I mentioned, but they're from South Korea. All right, next up, Death Stranding 2 on the beach is ramping up for its promotion with a special live game premiere on June 8th, hosted by Geoff Keighley during the Summer Game Fest. The event will feature a panel discussion, special guest appearances, and an exclusive live gameplay demo. While the game is less than a month from release, the event promises fresh content with hints at cameos and new gameplay footage. The event will be held at the Orpheum Theater in Los Angeles, but will also be live streamed on YouTube at 7 p.m. That's June 8th. I don't need to see anything more about Death Stranding 2 on the beach, and I'm glad that they're still pushing and putting it out there for the people who want to, but I'm good. I'm good on it. Jake?
Yeah, I mentioned something earlier about Death Stranding 2 being at Summer Games Fest, and you literally have a news point in here that says it's going to be at Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't read ahead on that.
It's all right.
But
I just let it rip.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna bother watching anything else about this game. It's like one of those things where I'm already interested. I already know that I need to be in a specific type of way to play this game. Mostly what I'm curious about is how this game launches, what people's reception of it is, and based on experiences with the first game, how is it going to translate to the second game? What changes are made, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So, I am less interested in seeing direct information from Keighley and from Kojima on the game, and more interested in seeing feedback from people who have played it, saying this is how you can compare it to what it was like playing through Death Stranding for the first time. Because I don't want any more I don't want any more trailers. I want to experience it all organically, but I do want some feedback on is it should I jump in right away, or is it okay if I kind of hold off a bit?
Yeah.
And that I think is going to be attained more from the commentary side and less from the press side, if that makes like the official press side.
Makes sense. I agree. I'm
are you interested in playing this, right?
Oh yeah.
Are you going to play it right away, or are you going to hold off?
It's a difficult question to answer. I feel like a game like this is best to get into on the ground up in the nature of how the online shared world kind of works.
Yeah.
But also, it depends on where I'm at with my life. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not sure. We will see. All right, next up. Randy Pitchford, the Gearbox boss. He sparked controversy recently, Jake, by suggesting that, quote-unquote, real fans would pay $80 for Borderlands 4, leading to backlash. In an attempt to clarify his comments, he posted a lengthy apology stating that he never intended to overcharge or take fans for granted. He emphasized his belief that customers should always feel they've gotten a fair deal, and expressed his desire for prices to remain accessible to all players. While Pitchford acknowledged that his comments may have come across poorly, he reaffirmed his gratitude for the support fans have shown. Interesting. I just call bullshit. I think he just he wants to make money on this. I don't know. So of course he does. Would you pay $80 for the new Borderlands game? Oh, Jake froze. It finally happened. He's frozen. Frozen in time. Jake, are you with us? Jacob? Shit, I think he's gone. His face looks really funny on the YouTube. Oh, he's coming back. I got nothing. Yeah, he just said he doesn't hear anything. I'll tell him disconnect and jump back in. Oh, there you are. You there? No. Guys, Jake's going to have to jump back. Oh, there he is. You there? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know why the hell this happens every episode. At least once.
It is weird. I don't really know. But I know generally, I assume you're talking about the whole Randy Pitchford thing.
Yeah, that was the story.
And
My only thing was, would you pay $80 for Borderlands 4?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan anyway, so I'm not sure if I would. But if this was The Last of Us Part 3, a new Uncharted game, if it was, let's say, the next, I don't know, Doom game or the next Elder Scrolls game, I'd pay $80 for it just because I am not so strapped with cash that the extra $10 isn't worth it for me. But I can understand why people might push back against this, and I can definitely understand why people would be upset about the tactless way in which he mentioned that you're not a fan unless you are willing to do it. And that's I think that he's not. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if he's entirely wrong, but at the same time, dude, you just don't say shit like this when you're trying to sell a game to people, and the world is the way that it is, the economy is the way that it is. People don't necessarily want to hear you say, like, you're not a fan if you're not willing, if you don't have the extra $10. And it's like, okay, I totally get that. Yeah. And the dude is, I don't know what the hell he was thinking saying that, because it is definitely not advisable. Yeah. That's for sure.
It's just not going to do any good. Interesting, though. Yeah, I would not pay $80 for Borderlands 4, and I haven't even played the game. It's just, Borderlands is just, it's old news. I'm sorry. I know they're just hanging on to this thing and they're trying to make it awesome, but I mean,
who knows? It might be fucking great. I honestly don't know. I mean, if it really is good, then I don't really have a problem with the price tag. Dude, you guys listening, we're going there. Whether it happens now or it happens when the PS6 comes out, the price of games is going to $80. So I think pushing back against it it's like, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Is Borderlands 4 worth it? I don't know.
Borderlands 4 is not going to be the trailblazer in this fucking movement. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, they're not Mario Kart World. Like, Mario Kart World can charge $80 because it's not
The Last of Us 3. It's not, The Witcher 4. It's not Grand Theft Auto 5, 6, whatever one we're going into.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be $80. I'm sorry. It's going to be $80. You better be ready to fucking pay that.
Could be more than that.
And everybody is going to complain about it while they're charging their credit card to get Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's one of those things where
Dude, if they did an early access on Grand Theft Auto 6, they would make so much money.
Dude, I guarantee you they probably will, and it'll probably be $100, and people will buy it
for 2 days, to get it 2 days in advance.
Ideally, it would be like a week, and then they would make the $30 or $20 worth it. Yeah. But you could definitely see it being like a 3-day early access, and it's fucking $100, and
it comes with totally like $10 and like shark cards or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, especially because the streaming scene with Grand Theft Auto is so huge that people are going to want to be in on that early. But that's kind of diverting from Borderlands. I am actually interested in playing Borderlands, but I am not going to pay $80 for it, I don't think. Not unless it comes out and it's like literally a 95 on Metacritic and everybody's like, this is the perfect game, you got to play it. It's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's probably not for me.
Right. I agree. All right. Hey, The Order 1886 was planned as the first game in a trilogy. We already talked about this. We're going to bring it up again. It was going to be a trilogy, folks. And with sequels, it was going to be the original game and then sequels. The Order 1891 and then Order 1899, which is interesting in development. However, poor reviews led to the cancellation of the series, and despite early plans for a 20th century setting in the third game. Ready at Dawn couldn't continue. Their studio later was acquired by Oculus, and that was shut down in 24 due to budget constraints. So Sir Galahad was later included as a collectible in Astrobot. That would have been cool, like a 20th century version of the Order, dude. Like, to get there.
I'm really disappointed of all of the what could have been kind of things.
Yeah.
In the PlayStation first party. I think that this is one of those things where they really could have, I think, continued this and made something really cool. Or at least I would have been super interested. I would have 100% bought the Order 1891 or whatever the fuck it was going to be called. Because I loved the aesthetic of the game. I loved where the story was going. It just was really short, and it was really light on features.
Gameplay.
So I don't know that it really deserves the hate that it got. I know there's a lot of revisionism on the game right now, but it's kind of a bummer. And maybe someday Sony will revive it, but as of right now, you can probably consider this franchise pretty well dead.
I bet your ass they're not gonna. Yeah. Lastly, last news point, and we're getting into new games this week, which is not even necessarily this week, just some new games coming out because I couldn't find a list. Last news point, Mark Gerhard, which kind of sounds like Go Hard, which is hilarious. The co-CEO of Mind's Eye, developer, builder Rocket Boy, believes the negative reception to their game is the result of a concerted effort to damage the studio's reputation. He claims that some individuals are being paid to spread negative feedback and that bots are targeting the game's content. Despite this, Gerhard maintains his position, suggesting the criticism isn't baseless. Mind's Eye has faced a lot of skepticism, with many accusing it of being a broken mess and criticized for looking outdated. The game is set for release on June 10th, and only then will the true quality be revealed.
Yeah, I feel like this game is probably going to be, I think it's going to be fine. Maybe it'll be great, maybe it'll be bad, I don't know, but is it being like maliciously targeted? I don't know. That seems a little bit tinfoil hat to me. But at the same time, I'm like why the fuck would, like, assuming Rockstar is who he thinks is doing this because they used to work for Rockstar, and the game is kind of inspired by that gameplay style.
Dude, I think it looks good.
Why the fuck would Rockstar care? They're getting ready to literally release like the biggest game probably in existence ever in Grand Theft Auto 6. And what fucking shit do they give about Mind's Eye? So, dude, if this game sells 10 million copies, it would be an unfettered success. It would be a mind-blowing success. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to sell 10 million copies in like the first couple months. So if he's implying that Rockstar is behind this, I don't know why they would give a shit. But is it possible that people are kind of sandbagging this game with bots and shit like that? I mean, it's always possible. Everything's possible. But I don't know.
I'll admit it does.
It
looks jank in some parts of the trailer, but it also looks really good in other parts of the trailer. So
I think the idea of it's fun. I love that it's like a semi-open kind of thing, and it's like Grand Theft Auto inspired, and it's like semi-futuristic, and I don't know, man. I'm excited to see how this game launches, because if it launches and it's in a pretty sweet state, that might be a game for me to be playing this summer after I get through Doom and stuff. So I'm kind of excited about it, if I'm being completely honest.
It looks kind of cool. I think it looks cool. We'll see what happens. But again, it comes out on June 10th. So getting into new games this week, Mind's Eye comes out on June 10th. It's not necessarily this week, but it's next week. And then we're getting Death Stranding 2 on the Beach June 26th. And then in July, the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 on July 11th. And then July 24th, WUCHANG Fallen Feathers. So there's going to be other games, of course, but those are the big ones. And I've got nothing else to say about the new games coming out.
Can I just say, forgive me, I don't know if this is racist in any fashion. But
and you probably shouldn't say it.
WUCHANG Fallen Feathers, like, could you not pick a game title that sounds more indistinguishable from that Wukong game?
I don't know.
Like, I get that they're both like Chinese kind of in like developer story like things, but like, dude, this game, just the title alone makes me think of that other game that's already come out, and that other game I didn't want to play because it was a Souls game. I didn't really care about it, and so when I hear this title, I immediately am like, not for me.
Well, I'll say
because
this.
Of that other game.
WUCHANG, I just looked it up, is one of 13 urban districts of the prefecture level city of Wuhan, the capital of the Hubei province in China. It's the oldest of the three cities that merged into modern day Wuhan.
Oh my god. So the one that I'm talking about, so the game we're talking about is WUCHANG Fallen Feathers.
Yeah.
The game that I'm talking about is Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Tell me that's not fucking stupid.
I think that's just us not understanding the language.
I get there is probably a cultural barrier there.
Similarities.
And I do apologize for anyone if that comes off as me being just like a shit American, and that is entirely possible that is what I'm being. But if you're trying to sell to the largest audience in the world, there is 100% without a doubt in my mind the possibility that people are going to confuse these games and not know what they're getting.
Wolong, from what I can tell, I can't find that there's a direct correlation to anything real behind those two words. I don't know. I've looked up, like, what is the definition of Wolong? Where is Wolong? Nothing. Immediately nothing. So Wolong could be a character name, possibly. I don't know.
It probably is something like that. I mean, how can you know? Yeah. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
And I'm not even saying that the games are the same.
Right.
Or they even play the same. Or they even look the same.
But it's hard.
Or they even have the same story.
It's hard.
But the title and the setting. It's like, okay, like for Americans in our dumb fucking,
our pea-brain size mind. Yeah, right.
Like, we're going to look at that game and be like, haven't we seen this game
before? We're
going
to get him fucking confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're just ignorant that way. Interesting. Yeah. It's a good point. I mean, they could have named it literally anything. Either of these games could have been named anything, knowing that the other one existed. They are very similar. It's like The Thing. It's like the main title and then a subtitle, and then they both begin with W. They're both 2 syllables. They're both foreign words to me.
They both have fallen in it.
Yeah, exactly. Your point is well taken. All right. Well, that's all I have for today's episode. There's nothing else. Thanks for tuning in to episode 380 of PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. I got to get everything else prepped for uploading. I'm kind of tired. I hope you guys had a nice weekend, and I hope you have a beautiful week. And everybody stay safe out there. We're going to keep posting hilarious YouTube thumbnails. One last thing. real quick, that I want to dedicate the show to the toad that I killed mowing my grass today. Dude, I felt so bad, and I'm not even making a joke. This thing was enormous, and I ran the mower, and I looked, and I just see the belly up of a huge-ass fucking toad. And I'm like, oh, shit. And so I flicked it with my foot, and I flipped him over, and the top of his head was bleeding. I've never seen an amphibian like bleed, but his eyes like this, and he starts twitching, and I'm like, oh shit, he's not even dead. Maybe he'll live. And I'm sitting there, and I felt so fucking bad. So I picked him up by the foot, and I threw him in the garden, and like he started like moving and twitching and trying to go down to like the ground. I just left him, man. I couldn't kill him because I don't know how bad he was. He could have just been rocked. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wasn't going to kill him out of mercy because I could have completely misread the situation. His head was bleeding, but I don't know how bad. Maybe he just hit the side or maybe the tire hit him or something. I don't know. But I feel so bad for him. And I'm just like, fuck, this makes me feel like shit today. And then I was like, well, it makes him feel a lot worse. You know, that toad doesn't know what the fuck is going on at all. So
yeah,
he does.
It's probably just like laying there flopping around being like, okay, well, I guess this is my new existence now.
It probably can't even have thoughts like that, but it knows, I guess I would say like primitively, it understands that something is wrong. You know, it probably isn't having cognitive thought, but it knows that shit's fucked right now. And it's probably panicked. And I feel bad, but I don't know, man. I hate it when shit like that happens. I hate clipping deer with my car. I hate, hitting squirrels and fucking chipmunks. I just look at it and I'm like, yeah, there's a ton of them. What's it matter? But then I'm just like, what if you were that thing, dude? That would just suck. It would suck. You get one rip at this whole thing. That's my belief. If you fucking show up as a chipmunk, that's what you got. Enjoy it. And then someone in their fucking car blasting Rancid flying down the road just takes you out. It's like, fuck, man, that sucks. Bad luck. But it sucks. It just sucks. I feel bad. I feel bad for the toad out there in my garden. But needless to say, my lawn's mowed. But anyways. You got anything, Jake, you want to share?
So the Isle of Man TT race is going on right now, which, Freddie, you're familiar with this concept?
No.
So the Isle of Man TT it's not a thing here, but in like specifically in like the UK and stuff, when they do road racing on motorcycles, they are literally racing on roads that have been closed.
Okay.
Not on like a closed course where there's all this runoff and air fences and all this crazy shit. Like roads with curbs and fucking stop signs and all kinds of crazy crap. The craziest of these road races is the Isle of Man TT, which takes place on, really smart people would realize it takes place on the Isle of Man, which is an island off of the coast of Great Britain.
Okay.
The United Kingdom, Britain, whatever. And it is just on public roads. They close them for the race, and it is a 36-mile lap. So one lap is 36 miles.
That's wild.
And these guys are riding motorcycles on public roads at like 200 miles an hour, like jumping them, doing wheelies, fucking all crazy shit. And they don't, because of the way that like because of how long the course is and how fast these guys go.
Yeah.
Their laps, like how well they are doing is not defined by their lap time. It's defined by their average speed.
Oh, wow.
And these guys basically like the top rider right now is averaging 133 miles an hour over the course of this lap. So you imagine riding your motorcycle through Meadville combined with a bunch of like state roads around Meadville, and imagine doing an average of 133 miles an hour through that. It is the most insane fucking motorcycle race in the world, and it takes place over the course of 2 weeks. They do a week of practice and qualifying, and then they do a week of racing. And it is like one of the very few just live and let live kind of events left on the planet. Like, they average more than one death per year at this race.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
It's fucking bizarro. And they have, dude, I even if you're not into motorcycle racing, I literally think that everybody should just for fun go on YouTube and just look up Isle of Man onboard lap. Just like a video of someone like their mounted camera while they do a lap on the Isle of Man. Imagine going through a town on a 2-lane road with walls on either side of you, and it's going so fucking fast you can't even see it, and you're like wheeling and shit. People, when they watch these videos, they think they're in fast forward. They think they're sped up, but they're not. Like these bikes are literally going 180 miles an hour through downtown in these towns. And it is the craziest shit you'll ever see. And I don't know, like, these guys are just obsessed with it. Like, can you imagine deciding to do something like this?
Dude, I don't like to go typically faster than 65, 70 miles an hour on a motorcycle. I mean, I know you can die at 30 miles an hour on a motorcycle, but
sure.
When I hit 70, I'm just like, you know what? This is exciting enough for me. Like, I couldn't imagine more than doubling that speed and going to, like, I can't. My brain can't process it. I'm kind of what some would call a pussy when it comes to riding a motorcycle. But
yeah,
it's just all about, like, dude, I don't like to ride roller coasters. I'm a very, I just feel more, I had a birthday recently, so I'm 44 now, so I just feel more mortal every year.
You're risk averse, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not completely risk averse, but for the most part, I am. Yeah.
It's just something like, dude, there's, and if you're even a little bit more interested, there's a documentary called Closer to the Edge. I believe that's what it's called. It's on YouTube. Closer to the Edge TT. Yeah. It's about the 2010 Isle of Man TT, and it is so fucking cool.
That's one.
Yeah. And, like, they follow these riders through, like, there's like a handful of riders that they follow, and dude, these guys are, dude, there's a guy just on, I think it was Friday or Saturday, Peter Hickman, one of the best to ever do it, just wrecked in qualifying on Friday at 140 miles an hour.
Jeez. On
public roads. And he's not fine. I mean, he's very hurt. Like, he's out for the rest of the race. He's out for the rest of the event. But he's already talking about coming back next year. And it's like, these guys, it gets in their brain, and it's just something that they, like, when you watch them do this, it looks like they're completely fucking out of control.
Yeah.
But they're just going crazy. And so, yeah, I don't know. Sorry for that little tangent. It's just something that is happening right now that, as a huge motorcycle racing fan, it is something that, like, I can't really bring myself to watch it. I don't subscribe to, like, the thing where you can watch all the live coverage or whatever, but I usually watch, like, the daily wrap-ups every day on it. And yeah, dude, these guys it's a 36-mile lap, and they average like 17 minutes per lap. So can you imagine 17 minutes to go 36 miles? And these guys have to memorize like 130 some corners And because it's through towns and it's through like trees and shit, all of the corners are blind. Like you can't look through the corners. And so they have to memorize them as they're going like a gazillion miles an hour. This race has been going on since like 1900 or like 1912 or something like that. And it's just been going every single year. But because the Isle of Man is like a sovereign state, nobody can tell them that they're not allowed to do this. And this event is like a pillar of their economy. So they're just like, as long as you know the risks, you sign up, you can come and do it. And it's obviously you have to have like a race license and you have to be qualified. They're not just going to let random people go out and do this.
Right.
But it's crazy. And people live there. So like on race days, they like in the afternoon, like during the day, people are driving to work and shit. And then at like 3:00, they close all of the roads and then they start racing the fucking motorcycles. It's psychotic. But anyway, I don't know. It's got me excited. But yeah, I highly advise just take 2 seconds out of your day when you're scrolling YouTube. Just look up fucking footage of people, either flybys of superbikes at Isle of Man where they're just racing by someone standing still, or look up like Peter Hickman has an onboard lap. It's like a full lap with a chin mounted camera and it looks fucking crazy. So anyway, I'm done. I'm just excited about it.
Yeah, you sound it. I'm excited that you're excited about it. Well, anyways, that's it. That's it for the episode. Tune in next week. We air for free every Wednesday. You can pay us $1 a month and get the episode early. Hopefully the audio is better this episode. If it's not, fuck us. Anyways, like Kill Knight, Kingdom 80s, and Knockout City. P.S. This is awesome.
This is awesome.